Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 4. Somebody wants to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Chapter 9, text 4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham tesu avastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Text 5. Na cha matsthani bhutani.
Hold on, Mataji. Hold on.
Okay, Prabhuji.
I'll explain this and then we'll go.
Okay, sure, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So let's see the previous verse. We'll do a recap. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me or conquer of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So we are talking about the most confidential knowledge. And here Krishna is describing his divine nature, right? If you are somebody important, generally between friends, you don't talk about your importance, like I am a so-and-so. With friends, you're just friends. So Krishna has been friendly with Arjuna. Only when Arjuna asked in chapter 2, Krishna started speaking the Bhagavad Gita. And now, finally, Krishna is actually talking about something that he has been referring to God in a third person kind of a way, but here he's talking about himself as God, right? He's revealing himself, and that's the confidential aspect, that he's being comfortable about his own identity and is starting to describe himself. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Atashra Krishna Namadi na bhavid grahyam indriya sevan mukhe jivadu swayam eva spurati adaha bhakti rasamrita sindhu. Lord Shri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Why? What happens? With the material senses, what do we see? Oh, it's just a playboy, has a lot of girlfriends, stealing butter, and nobody says anything to him. Looks humanly, right? When we see from material vantage point, Krishna's pastimes look very normal, like as if we are doing something. But when you see from devotional angle, every leela, every aspect, every word Krishna says has tremendous depth, right? So for example, Krishna stealing the butter, it might look like mischievous little boy going and stealing butter from the gopis. But Krishna is actually reciprocating with them. He's accepting their love in the form of butter, right? A Gwala's biggest treasure is their cows, and their cows give milk. From the milk comes yogurt. From the yogurt comes ghee. From ghee comes butter. So it's the essence of their treasure. And that essence, when they're making that butter, the gopis are always thinking, I wish Krishna would steal it from me today. I wish Krishna would come to my house today, right? And everybody's desiring that. As much as they complain externally to Mother Yashoda, internally they're always thinking, I wish Krishna would steal it. And let me churn it very nicely so it has nice fragrance and Krishna will come and steal it, right? So Krishna is actually reciprocating with his devotees and accepting their offering. Just like when we offer with bells and everything, we offer bhoga on the altar. Krishna accepts that. In Brahma Samhita, it is said, Krishna can interchangeably use his 5 senses. So he can eat with his eyes, right? He can see with his ears. Krishna can do that. Lord Brahma is saying it. So when we offer on the altar, we're like, oh, the deity is not eating. He's eating with his eyes. He's accepting it by looking at it through his vision. And he's leaving us the Mahaprashadam. So we can also get benefited. So Krishna, his activities and pastimes, when seen from a material vantage point, it looks very, very, normal. What's so special about Krishna? But when it's seen from devotional vantage point, then one understands how much depth is in every activity or every word or everything Krishna does. So coming back to the purport, in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyakta murtina. Avyakta means unmanifested, right? So his murtina, his form, is unmanifested. People can't see him. They say, show me God. How can you see him if he doesn't want to show himself? But one who loves Krishna, this sentence from Brahma Samhita is very beautiful. Prem Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Lochana means eyes, right? So Prem Anjana Bhakti. So Bhakti is like a moisturizing cream, right? It is saying massaging the eyes with the moisturizing cream of love. Prem Anjana, so love, love flavored cream. With that, if one's eyes is moisturized, with those eyes one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, he's generally avyakta murtina. He's unmanifested. He's not visible. So when you have love for Krishna, you can see Krishna everywhere, like Srila Prabhupada, right? He would always be able to associate with Krishna. He would always be able to see Krishna, be guided by Krishna. So for us also, if to the degree we have love for Krishna, we can see Krishna. Now, what does that mean? Do we see Krishna playing the flute on the banks of Yamuna? Certainly, if we have that level of realization, true. But can we see that Krishna was here, or this is Krishna's manifestation? To the degree we understand Bhagavad Gita, if we can see the beautiful sunset or the sunrise, or ability in a person, or beautiful birds, we can see, wow, how beautiful must Krishna be, because he is the source of all sources. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the source of all sources. So anywhere we see beauty, we see opulence, we see wisdom, we see wealth, we see power, we see intelligence, ability, we can source it back to the source and be like, wow, how amazing must Krishna be if his spark is so beautiful, right? We are all little sparks of Krishna. So if one spark of Krishna can be so powerful, so beautiful, so incredibly creative, there are such amazing personalities in this world. So how beautiful must be the source? So that's how one sees Krishna everywhere. Krishna is never lost to a devotee, and Krishna says a devotee is never lost to me, right? So that's how we see Krishna. We see Krishna's presence, we feel Krishna's presence. But one who is not, whose eyes are not massaged with the balm of love, such eyes cannot see Krishna. As the word God, show me anything. Birth, death, it's all over. There's no God, right? And that's also, that's what it is meant to be for materialists. Krishna doesn't want to be seen by those who don't have love for him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two energies. Superior spiritual energy, which we have called para prakriti, and inferior material energy, or apara prakriti. Just as sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the universe, right? So going back to the translation, by me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. So Krishna in his Brahma Jyoti form, unmanifested, avyakta murtina, entire universe, he's there in his unmanifested form. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. Now, who remembers that verse? You don't have to quote me word for word, but just refer to the example Krishna gives to showcase how he is supporting the entire universe without being seen. Anybody remembers?
That like as a pearl necklace.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's just like a pearl necklace, you don't get to see the string that's holding the pearls together, but you see the beautiful formation. And those people who are intelligent, who have the ability to see beyond what is visible, can appreciate that there must be a string. That's why the pearls are in such nice formation. If there was no string, the pearls would be all over the place. So similarly, everything rests on Krishna. So here, second time Krishna is mentioning that he is not in everything rests on him, but he's not in them. So it's not both way street. He is God. He is not dependent on us. He doesn't, many times people say, Bhakt hai to Bhagwan hai, right? Not true. Bhagwan hai always. God is always there. Bhakt ho na ho, Bhagwan is there. So those are poetically nice sounding things, but more important to understand is Krishna is the support of everything that we see. The entire creation, the entire universe is being supported by the personality of Godhead in the form of Anantasesh or Balaram, right? Which is a part of his expansion. It's a part of his expansion. So my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So we are in Krishna's lap in one sense, right? So because we are there, that means what? We are all, if one has the eyes to see it, one has the consciousness, one can be in the material world and still be feeling the spiritual ecstasies. Because this material world is also within the spiritual world. It is resting on Krishna, right? So we're never away from Krishna. Krishna never left us. We left Krishna. Krishna is just hiding because we don't want to see him. It's like, okay, you don't want to see my face? Fine, I'll hide myself and protect you and take care of you and maintain you and sustain you, provide you and fulfill your wishes. But all the karmas you do, you have to face for those. Whatever karma you do, good or bad, you have to face it, right? But he's always there supporting us through that process, good or bad. He's never left us. We left him. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. So a lot of times that might be the idea, like, oh, God is everywhere. Like a lot of times, law of secret, book of secret and all, right? Law of attraction. People think, oh, the universe is responding to me. The universe is inert. The universe is not responding. It's God. It's Krishna. Krishna is reciprocating or responding. But because one doesn't know, one thinks it's the universe. And so it's very common amongst, certain people who are big into this following of a law of attraction. I'm not saying law of attraction is wrong. It is very accurate. It does work very beautifully, but it's not the universe, it's Krishna. For us, those who know, it's not the universe. The universe is inert by itself. It's Krishna's unmanifested form that is bringing things together and making, material creation happen. All right. So refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. Now, Krishna is supporting the entire creation. Please understand this. Everything is in Krishna. Krishna is not, dependent on all of that. Rather, Krishna is aloof from all of this, right? He's playing the flutes with the gopis, gopas, cows, calves, Srimati Radharani. He's having his own life. It's not like, oh, Krishna is holding on, like Atlas holding on the little, I don't know if it's the universe or the world, but that's what the Greek mythology, showcases Atlas to be, holding on to the globe. That's not the case with Krishna. He's not holding on. Anantasesh is taking care of all that. Krishna is playing the flute. He's tending the cows and the calves and gopis and gopas and dancing with them at night. He's having fun. He's God. He is having fun. That's Krishna. So Krishna is the fun-loving God who's always enjoying. He's never suffering. He's never fighting and all of that. He's just enjoying himself. That's where our mentality comes, right? As kids, we are like, what if there was no school? What if there was no homework? I could just play all day long. Where does it come from? It's because we actually do that with Krishna in the spiritual world. We play all day long with Krishna, and all night long we are just talking about Krishna. That's the natural tendency. So that's where that tendency comes from. Like, I wish I could just play all day long and not have to go to school, because that's what our life is in Vrindavan, and hopefully that's where we will be soon after this life is over. So, for example, a king heads a government. So, Prabhupada is explaining, just in case people get into like, oh, God is all energy, God doesn't have a form, God is not a person, right? So, Prabhupada is explaining. It's like just like a king, he heads a government, which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different government departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. So we say Modi government, whether it's taxes, whether it's defense, whether it's electricity, we say Modi government. So Modi is sitting on top. There's cabinets, but they're all basically, part of that. I'm not supporting any political party. Please don't get me wrong. It's just, he happens to be the prime minister right now. So point is, because he's the prime minister, he's the leader of the country. That's what everything is. All blames go to him, right? Anything goes wrong, oh, that prime minister, he's doing this. And anything goes right, some people will be like giving him credit maybe. But the point is, it's like how Prabhupada is describing it. The king's energy, every government department are nothing but the energies of the king. And each department is resting on the king's power. But still one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, but that's not true for Krishna. Krishna is present in every department in the form of Anantasesh, right? Anayo Anayan, Mahato Mahyan. He's smaller than the smallest in the atom. In every atom, Krishna says, I am there. And he is also larger than the largest, Mahavishnu, from whose pores universes are coming out. But he is also there in Golok Vrindavan, playing the flute and being with Radharani and the gopis. So just a spark of his manifestation, spark of his expansion, which is Mahavishnu, by the way, is creating this entire material creation from his sweat pores. Universes are coming out. So here, Prabhupada is saying that a king cannot be expected to be in every department, but Krishna is there in every atom, in every living being's heart. He is there as Paramatma. Similarly, all manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in the material world and the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies. And as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vishtabhyaham idam Krishnam. He is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Any questions on chapter 9, text 4?
Prabhuji, why Krishna says like, but I'm not in them while he is present in like Paramatma form?
Oh, not like that. So Krishna is supporting everything, but Krishna is not supported by us, right? So let's read the verse one more time. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. That's the first part. He's pervaded, he's everywhere. All beings are in me. That means in his unmanifested form, the Brahma Jyoti, all beings are in that Brahma Jyoti. But I am not in them.
Oh,
A baby is inside the mother. The mother is not inside the baby.
Yeah. So he's outside. So he's outside the system.
The unmanifested form, the Brahma Jyoti part,
yeah,
Avyakta Karanam, right? That is pervading everything, and everything is within that. Nothing is beyond that. But then as Paramatma, he is within the heart. As Govinda, he is in Golok Vrindavan, as Bhagavan, right? So there's Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti Shabdate. So in the Brahman feature, he's talking about only. So in the Brahman feature, he's all pervading and everything is resting on him. He's not resting on anything else.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Crystal clear or not clear?
Yeah, kind of.
You can ask the follow-up.
Yeah, it is the unmanifested form. So Krishna is not in present in the universe, right? In the Brahma Jyoti and all, because he's beyond that.
No. Okay. So you have to understand, this is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, remember? Inconceivable oneness and difference. So Krishna as a personality of Godhead is in Goloka. But
Yeah.
simultaneously, he is Brahmajyoti. That's his unmanifested form.
Yeah.
And he is also as Paramatma within the heart, simultaneously.
Right.
So simultaneously, he is in Goloka, he is also here.
Right. Yeah.
And this verse is only about his unmanifested form. Just like E is equal to mc squared.
Mm-hmm.
We say everything is energy. So what is that energy? It's Brahmajyoti.
Yeah.
Everything is within that purview. So that's what Krishna is saying.
Yeah. Yeah. But like basically everything is Brahmajyoti. That's
Krishna is
what.
everywhere. In the form of Brahmajyoti, he is all pervading. In the form of Paramatma, he is in everyone's consciousness, in everyone's heart, as well as in every atom.
Yeah.
He says, I'm everywhere.
Yeah. I understand that part. But my doubt was in like, but I am not in them. That was my doubt part.
Is it clear now?
Can you elaborate the last part again? Like, but
Sure.
I'm not in them.
So again, you have to understand the last part, you have to see the first. By me,
Mm-hmm.
in my unmanifested form.
Yeah.
So by me is the Bhagavan form, right? By me,
Yeah.
in
The
my
personality.
unmanifested form, not saying in my form, but in my unmanifested form,
Yeah.
Avyakta form. This universe is all pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them.
Hold on, let me do that again.
So rest. So it's resting. So don't think of it in me like as an inside me. So it's, everything is resting on the Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah.
The sun is fueled by the Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah.
The moon is fueled by the Brahma Jyoti. Gravitational force is fueled by the Brahma Jyoti. Everything is fueled by that source of energy.
Yeah.
But nothing is fueling Krishna. He is the
now
source.
now I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now I get it.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. Someone else will read 9.5? Or anybody else has any questions? Any doubts?
Prabhuji,
Yes,
Yes. Go ahead, Krishna.
Prabhuji, like just to correct my understanding, is that me in my unmanifested form means like as a whole also Krishna is there, and at the same time he is aloof also. Like in his unmanifested form everything is there, but at the same time he is different.
So,
He is
for
having a
example,
personality that time also.
are you in Brahmajyoti? Yes. Can you interact with Brahmajyoti and dance and hug Brahmajyoti? No. So that aspect is missing of Bhagavan. The Bhagavan aspect is you can hug him, you can worship him, you can feed him, you can, worship him. That is not possible in Brahmajyoti form. So he's saying, in the form of Brahmajyoti, I'm all pervading. But as a personality of Godhead, he can manifest from Goloka to you any moment. But that's not what is all pervading.
Yes.
Avelo Prabhuji, if you can explain the difference between this manifested form and the unmanifested form, I think then we can get the clarity on this.
Sure. I don't know how else to explain this. So unmanifested form means it's not visible, but we know that everything has a source. Everything is in that energy field that we are in. So Brahma Jyoti is everywhere, fueling everything. This light is being fueled by the power station. Is the power station here? No. But because the light, I can say, the power station's electricity has come through the wires, through the transmission lines to this light and is empowering it. Right? So it's an unmanifested form of power that is there. That power is being translated by the bulbs into light, and the photons are falling on me, and you can see me. So
ultimately that unmanifested energy is there around us, in the form of
everywhere. Correct. And that's what Krishna is saying. That's all pervading. I'm everywhere. They say God is everywhere, right?
Right.
That's what is meant by it. As Brahma Jyoti, he is everywhere. But as Bhagavan, he is the deity, or he is in Goloka, or he is in Vrindavan, playing the flute, etc. Right? That's the manifested form as Bhagavan, two hands, mouth, peacock feather, flutes, etc. Does it make sense or not make sense?
Yes, the substation and powerhouse example actually like fits in totally. We can't even see electricity, but
Correct.
that through that energy we can say that yes, that's present.
This light
At
falling
the
on
same
me, it's
time,
not electricity, but this light is falling on me because there is electricity powering it.
correct. Yes.
Puja Mataji, does it make sense?
Yeah, now it's making sense. Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah. Now, earlier, the both the like the verse in that both the couplets, were contradictory in nature, because it's saying like I am in everything, but not everything is
In
okay
me.
in me. So, but ultimately, the source of energy, or the unmanifested and turning into manifested forms, is the same energy, the same element.
So he's basically saying it's coming from me. I'm not coming from it. It's coming from me. So I am everywhere.
Yeah, the ultimate source is
You
that.
guys are not everything in me. I'm everywhere. I'm the Father. I'm the Creator. I'm the source. I'm the energy that is everywhere. I'm supporting everything. Yet I'm aloof from that. As the purport says in the purport, I'm aloof from all of it. He's not like, oh God, I have to hold on to this planets and everything. This is such hard work. No, he's playing the flute and having fun.
All right, now got it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other confusions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
There
Radha.
is secret book writer Rhonda. I think she's from another religion, Prabhuji. Then how come she got to know about these all law of attraction and universe, these all things? Just a small question.
Why
And
not?
also affirmations.
Sure. So if you see even Socrates and Plato, a lot of their teachings has a very close similarity to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. And now this is not coming from the cyclic succession, please. So you can take it with a grain of salt. But my understanding of history is India was stretching all the way from where we know today to Greece. Right, Alexander the Great knew India existed, so it's coming. So it was India was, so there was a lot of trade, lot of exchange. So knowledge was transferred far more. And Bharatvarsha was not just India. Bharatvarsha was the whole world. Europe, yeah, and Africa included, which is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So how do they know? Because it's observable. A, B. This knowledge is there from the teachings of Socrates and other Western philosophers who have noticed these things and have mentioned things, and she beautifully put this together in the form of law of attraction. So parallel truth is truth. Somebody has a complete truth, somebody has partial truth. If I look at the elephant and somebody sees the tail and says the elephant is like a thread, that is also truth. Somebody says the elephant is like a wall, that is also truth. Somebody says the elephant is the trunk, that is also truth. And somebody says all of that is the elephant put together, and that is the complete truth. So the elephant and the 6 blind men, I'm referring to that analogy, right? Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare
It's not
Krishna.
like we have exclusivity on all the knowledge. There is knowledge available in all cultures, and many of that knowledge has percolated from the Vedic tradition. That's for sure. Having said that, they might have, like, for example, if you look at the Greek mythology, there's amazing similarity to our demigod system. Or even if you look at Israel, like I mentioned a long time ago, they were actually showcasing there is the king of all the gods in Israel is called El. And Israel is named after him. And that El is actually Indra, because it shows holding his weapon is a thunderbolt. Guess whose weapon is a thunderbolt? Indra. He's a king of all the gods. Guess who is the king of all the gods? Indra. And then sitting in his, there's actually a museum that's showing these kinds of deities. Sitting in his chamber are the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, the air god, and all of that. So So Vedic culture was all over the world. Slowly, it has been reduced to just India today. But those cultures have existed, those philosophers have had access in the past, and that knowledge is trickling down. It's just we can appreciate it far better. We don't have to say the universe is responding, we can say Krishna is responding, or at least Brahma Jyoti. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question, not regarding this fourth verse.
Just
So-
give me 1 second. Let me just make sure Ragini Mataji is fully satisfied. Yes,
Oh,
Mataji,
sure.
are you fully happy with the answer, or do you have any follow-ups?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prayash Prabhu.
Yeah, so if we see today, like the evidences of like Vedic culture is present all over, from let's say Japan, Korea, to like Cambodia, to the all the way to Greek mythology, where like our demigods are like presented as gods. But so if everything was just like that, just the representation was different, but how do we still keep how do we just say this is Indra, this is Varuna, and their representation is different, although the demigods are the same? How do they represent the same demigods differently?
I didn't understand your question. I'm sorry.
So basically, in Greek mythology,
Mhm.
so like you mentioned that the same, basically they worship the same god and
Similar. I didn't say same. It's a similar.
similar. So so it all comes from Vedic traditions, right? So which
It's
was,
rooted in Vedic tradition. Yes.
yeah. So like if so basically, if they saw that, or it's in their culture, that must have been like so basically like if they are seeing Indra, Varuna,
Mhm.
that must be some truth to that in from their perspective, right? And why, my question to you is, why they are not calling them Indra, Varuna?
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to give you a simple example, in Bengali, do we say Indra? We say Indro, right? For
Yeah.
example, in Chinese, do they say Hare Krishna? They say Hare Krishna, because
Okay.
R is pronounced L. Does Krishna know? By Krishna they mean Krishna? Sure. So like that, in languages and cultures, names get altered over. And if you know anything about Chinese whispers, you know when and what is this called? What tradition? Sound tradition, is that the right word? No. Like the Vedic tradition was an oral tradition. Sorry, yes, oral tradition.
Shruti.
Like it's Shruti. So it was moving from speech to listening to change. So when things move thousands of kilometers, do you think things can get altered a little bit? Certainly. And with time, that gets altered even further. With language, that gets altered even more. So like that, things get altered, but you can see the similarity. We say matri, and in Spanish it says madre, right?
Yeah.
So there's similarity, and we can see, oh, there has to be a commonality. Where is this all coming from? But when we date it back in history, the oldest civilization, the oldest language, the oldest culture, guess what that is? It's a Vedic civilization. There is no doubt about that. Atheists don't doubt it. Christians don't doubt it. No religions doubt it. Vedic tradition is the oldest tradition.
Yeah.
Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, or whatever it might take. So where is this all coming from? The Vedic tradition.
Yeah. And because we have been connected to our scriptures, that's why we are getting the most authentic versions.
Correct. Hastinapur was the center of the entire world. It was the capital of Bharatvarsha. So because we are fortunate to be born in this part of India, we still have some relics of that in accurate form. But everywhere else, that has been slowly watered down. And they're at best in the form of mythologies and stories and folklores.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, that part of the world has been diluted by, let's say,
The further you go from Bharat today, the more diluted you see it is.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Why did you say Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Burma, and all that have more relics? Because they're closer to India. Further you go, the less you see.
Yeah, right.
All right. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Yogesh.
I have a remotely related question.
Remotely
Uh,
related, okay?
So I have like three. So first one is, has the Jagat and Jagat, Jiva, Maya have independently existed since time immemorial? Or so that's one. Or do they constitute the physical? I mean, let's say the manifested form of Krishna.
I didn't understand your question.
So let us say, are these the, let's say the combination of these, that is the Jagat, Jiva, and Maya forming, merging together.
So let's talk about
Manif-
Jagat. Let's talk about Jagat. So the
Yes.
universe as you know it. As you know, it is only manifest for 311 trillion years. That is one lifetime of Brahma. Once Brahma dies, there is complete annihilation. And then it goes into Mahavishnu's pores. Again, it comes out, and new Brahma comes, new creation begins. All the living entities are again manifested. So Jagat does not always exist. It gets unmanifested and remanifested. Now, let's talk about Maya. Maya is a thing of this world, right? It's not there in the spiritual world. So yeah, when manifestation happens, then Maya illusion, Maya Devi, she takes care of all that. And you said Jiva, Jagat, and what did you say? No, Jiva, living entity is always there. We're always there, eternal. Is that your question?
So then what is the difference between what differentiates Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita? I mean, these are the two schools of thought. How do you differentiate between them? Because they seem to be very similar when trying to comprehend, but at the same time they seem a little different at the same time. So I'm failing to understand the difference.
It's not mutually exclusive. It's truth, more complete truth, achintya bheda bhed tattva, complete truth. Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, so like that, it's moving. Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? Shankaracharya is like, we're all God. You're God, I'm God, we're all God. It's all one. It's all Brahman. That's it. Then Vishishta Advaita. There's duality. There's us and there is God. We cannot be God and we cannot be one with God. There's separation. Simultaneous oneness and separation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. But first, it was established that there is separation. Is it Ramanujacharya or Madhvacharya? I keep forgetting.
It is, I think, Ramanujacharya.
Ramanujacharya. So you always see him with the V. It's not V.
Yes,
It's mentioning this difference between us and God. Right? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, there is difference between us and God. And Shankaracharya is also right. We are also one with God. Simultaneously, both are true. We are one in quality, different in quantity. We are also Satchidananda. Krishna is also Satchidananda. But Krishna is unlimitedly Satchidananda. And we are infinitesimally Satchidananda. He is eternal, he is everywhere, manifested everywhere. We are just manifested in where we are. He is unlimitedly happy. He can have relationship with all the souls. We can only have with our Facebook friends, hardly. Right? So that's the difference. Our capacity, but in terms of who we are, the spark and the fire, we're the spark of the fire. So the quality is both same. There's also fire, there's also fire. There's a spark, there's a blazing fire. Krishna, us. Does it make sense or no?
I need to think about it. I need some time to comprehend this.
Okay, sure. Took me some time also. When I learned this, it took me at least 3-4 weeks of constant meditation to understand these concepts. And here again, go to Prabhuji and ask him, and then and slowly things got clearer. But yeah, this is not the easiest thing, especially given it's not kind of how our realm works. Achintya, that's why it says Achintya Bhedavetattva, inconceivable. Something inconceivable by different definition, we try to conceive it. So it will take some time. to conceive the inconceivable. It's not our time, it's actually will take some mercy. So in a prayerful mood, if you try to understand this, Krishna will give realization, which will become crystallized. So don't try to be a jnani with the jnani yoga. Try to be a bhakta, depend on Krishna and tell him, my dear Krishna, if you want, you can empower me to understand this concept, so I can understand you better.
This was just plain curiosity. So
Yes. No, good. Krishna has given you wonderful intelligence, so it's natural for you to be intellectual. But it's my job to caution you to not get lost in the intellectual realm, but rather be in the surrender realm.
definitely. So
Because that's I will eventually take over. Like, you're proud of your intelligence. Let me complicate the shit out of you. So that he'll be so confused. He'll be like, okay, move too much.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Questions, comments, anything?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Small
Ravina.
question. Recently, I read one article, Prabhuji. Japanese people are going into more depression itself because they're into more technology. They are buying more robots. They are not getting married, and if they are marrying, they are having only one kid itself. So due to they're into more technology, this is all happening itself, Prabhuji. Why they are not reading the Bhagavad Gita? Because their culture resembles. They are little near to our Indian culture, I think so, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
So why it's happening? Just
it's Kali Yuga, right? Japan is the first country that I think legalized human meat restaurant. Did you know that?
Oh my God.
So a person can actually, before leaving his body, sell his body for I think some $14,000 or something, and he can be cut into pieces and cooked. And yeah, I read something like that. So in some parts of the world, Kali Yuga has really progressed. So when Kali Yuga has progressed, guess what? It's our responsibility to do something about it. And that's why Srila Prabhupada sent missionaries all over the world to help these people, give them an alternative to the life they're leading. And yes, absolutely true. And what you say in Japan and South Korea, people are dying on their workspaces, just working to death, literally. They have a word for it in Japanese. I forget what it's called. People are marrying robots. Yes, that's what Kali Yuga looks like. Ultimate mechanistic society where we have forgotten how to be humans. It's basic animal nature: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunamscha. That is the similarity between Pashu and us. Samanya etat Pashu bhi samana. Pashu bhi samana. So that's what Pashu also, and we also do: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But dharmo hiteha, one who asks higher questions, such people get higher answers. So not all Japanese people are marrying dolls or dying from exhaustion. There are people who ask higher questions and get higher answers. And there is ISKCON present in Tokyo as well. There are wonderful devotees in Japan. And yeah, there's everything everywhere, Mataji. There's always variety. Just because the article says so doesn't mean all Japanese are, that way. But yeah, unfortunately, some places there are some things that have really taken Kali Yuga to a whole new level.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
China does that very well. They're really good at fast forwarding Kali Yuga as much as possible. Akshat Prabhu is asking, Prabhuji, how to increase the chanting rounds? I'm stuck with only 4 rounds. Such a nice question. Hearing helps. Hearing Krishna Katha helps. So the more you hear, the more you want to hear. So hearing, what it does, Krishna Katha cleanses our heart, like what we are doing right now. As it cleanses our heart, our natural tendency is to chant and glorify Krishna. Like the gopis and the gopas, they cannot stop saying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna says this, Krishna does that. Oh, Krishna is so powerful. Oh, Krishna is so intelligent. Oh, Krishna is so beautiful. Oh, Krishna killed that demon. Oh, Krishna did this. They're always chanting Krishna's name spontaneously, right? That is a natural tendency. So because we're diseased in material situation, we feel, chanting, God, I have rounds left, right? That's because we're diseased. So the more we hear Krishna Katha, the more we hear Kirtan, Bhajan, etc., the more our karma gets burnt, and the more karma gets burnt, the natural pure soul, nature of the pure soul comes out. And the more that comes out, that is by nature, by default, very attracted to Krishna. And that's where, one feels attracted to chanting more, feels inspired to read more, to understand more, to glorify Krishna more, to eat prasadam only, etc., etc. So that's where it comes from. So hear more. If you can have a schedule of hearing 3 times a week, or maybe every day, 15 minutes, little bit, Prabhupada's lectures or something, you will see, you will slowly be able to make progress. Actually, I chant early morning without bathing. Is it okay? Is it okay? Yes, it is okay. There is no rules to chanting the holy name of Krishna. Having said that, it is better to do any sattvic activity or any spiritual activity after taking a shower. It's better. That doesn't mean you cannot do it. There's no rules to chanting. Okay. Don't try, Akshat. Actually listen. It's just YouTube, not a big deal. When you're, like I said, I do that in the shower. When I'm in the shower, I have my speaker, wireless speaker, and I listen. So you can have your listening time when you're eating, when you're showering, before you're going to bed. Just have a time, 15 minutes before you go to bed. Just listen to one half a lecture of Prabhupada or one lecture of Prabhupada and go to bed, right? And you'll see that it has an impact on your consciousness. You get realizations, and slowly your desire for hearing more and chanting more manifests. Don't push it. Let it be natural, because Krishna consciousness is natural to the soul. So the more you cleanse the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleanse the mirror of the mind, the more the natural propensity, attraction for Krishna will grow. Khyati is asking, I guess I became late. I might have missed a part of the session today. Can you brief, please? I did say a lot and I don't remember what I said. So I will be sharing the recording in the group. Khyati, are you in the WhatsApp group of Philosophy Friday? No? Okay. Share your number. How do I do this? Okay, here is my number. Send me a WhatsApp message and I'll add you to the group. How have you come here, Khyati? Who referred you, if I may ask? And where are you from? If you could be so kind to introduce yourself, that'd be wonderful. It was your reference. Oh, I referred you. Okay, fantastic. All right. 9.5. Will you finish this? Yeah, Ragini Mataji, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 5. Nacha matstani bhutani pasyame yogam aishwaram bhuta bhrannacha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation.
Thank you, Mataji. Prayash, clear?
Yeah.
Now it makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, Khyati Mataji, I don't remember, but you just send me a WhatsApp, I'll add you to the group. Okay, so like as we discussed, I should have probably read this and discussed the whole thing, but yeah. So, yet everything is created, does not rest in me. Sorry. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Okay, let's understand this. The Lord says that everything is resting on Him. Matsthani sarva bhutani. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of Atlas holding the globe on his shoulders, like I said, right? He seems to be very tired, holding his great earthly planet, holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's upholding the created universe. He says that although everything is resting on him, he's aloof. The planetary systems are floating in space, and this space is the energy of the Supreme Lord. But he is different from the space. He is differently situated. Therefore, the Lord says, although they are situated on my inconceivable energy, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am aloof from them. This is the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. That's why Krishna suddenly says, behold my mystic opulence, right? So he's glorifying his mystical yogam aishwaram, his mystical opulence. Yogam aishwaram is opulence of yoga, right? So what is the mystical opulence? That even though everything is resting on him, he is he's not part of this cosmic manifestation. So that's why he is not made up of blood, sweat, urine, pus, stool. He's not that. He is not earth, water, fire, air, ether. He is completely something different. He is spiritual Satchidananda, right? So Krishna's form, although 2 hands, 2 legs, etc., we look like him, but what he's made up of, his body is made up of, and what our bodies are made up of, completely different. But what our soul is made up of is the same as what his form is. Krishna's spiritual form, our soul is spiritual form. So that's the similarity. That's the oneness. The difference is our soul is in this material body, which grows old, eventually dies. Krishna's form never grows old, never dies. Okay. Wow, calls and calls. Although they are situated in my inconceivable energy as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, I'm aloof from them. This is the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. In the Nirukti Vedic dictionary, it is said, Yujyate Nena Durgateshu Karyeshu. The Supreme Lord is performing inconceivably wonderful pastimes, displaying his energy. His person is full of different potent energies, and his determination is itself actual fact. In this way, the personality of God has to be understood. We may think of doing something, but there are so many impediments, and sometimes it is not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by his willing, everything is performed so perfectly that one cannot imagine how it is being done. The Lord explains this fact. Although he is the maintainer and sustainer of the entire material manifestation, he does not touch this material manifestation. Simply by his supreme will, everything is created, everything is sustained, everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated. This is no different from his mind and himself, as there is a difference between ourselves and our present material mind, because he is absolute spirit. Simultaneously, the Lord is present in everything, yet the common man cannot understand how he is also present personally. He is different from the material manifestation, yet everything is resting on him. This is explained here as Yogam Aishwaryam, the mystic power of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So please understand that is why we are having a little difficulty understanding it, because behold, Krishna's mystic opulence, right? So please don't ask me any further to explain it. I have tried my best. You can watch the recording a few times, but I have tried my best to explain it, but it's not explainable because it is not this worldly. It is like explaining the iPhone to an ant, like I like to say. So we are like little ants trying to understand something very complex, something from another dimension. But with mercy, with realization, we will understand, know for a fact. By logic and intellectually, we might get limited. But when Krishna's mercy comes, all those limitations are broken off, because it's not a matter of intelligence, it's a matter of soul understanding the Supreme Soul. All right. Just like a mother, Baby doesn't have to say anything. By crying, the mother can understand baby is hungry, or baby has peed on himself, or the baby has some problem. By the cry, I have tried many times understanding what is the difference in each cry. I have no idea, but the mother can understand. So similarly, Krishna can understand us before we even pray to Krishna. Please give me this. He knows what we want, and also for us, right now we're trying to understand Krishna, but when the relationship is nicely established, we can also understand Krishna's mystic opulence that he's going to talk about more in chapter 10. The whole chapter 10 is 72, I think, mystical opulence. It's like amazing. All right. Any last questions? You have 1 minute left. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Have a good night, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.